Hello, crafty friends. Hi, happy Thursday. Thank you so much for popping in here with me. My chat is not up, so let me get this up here. Okay. Ready for an hour or more of fun. You guys know me so well. So thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate you. I was playing with this stuff last night. And so did I clean up after myself? No, I didn't. Um, but I did make two. Look at my cute little over here. Look at my cute little cards. I did little winter cards. I think I have a video idea for this later on. So, oh look, there's my sister. See, that's my sister, Michelle. That's my sister. Isn't she so nice to pop in here and support me? We love her. Plus, she's perpetually just cleaning up after me and trying to organize my stuff and trying to make my stuff better. And I just refuse to cooperate. So I use the trees. And I very much like the trees, and I feel like I will revisit that again. But today I was thinking about using some different trees. I'm cleaning these up as we chit chat. So in this release, they have some birch trees as well, which I thought would be, I love you too, my sister. So they have some cute little birch trees as well. And so I thought maybe we could use those. Or they have this that's for the stencil. The stencil's right here. They have these adorable igloo that I thought was so cute. So I did a video with these winter tags. Where are they? Hold on. I'll snag them in case you haven't seen the video yet. So we made these, which was like limiting our color palette, and it is a little bit unconventional, but I thought that they were super fun. And so this one already has a video. I should have linked it. I'll do it after the fact. So I've kind of played with these already. And then this is a penguin stencil, and then the little penguin shaker, which I love. I think it's so cute. Here's these birch trees I was telling you about, which I really do like. So, and then here's the igloo shaker. So it has like the base die, and then this is the part that sits on top. Oh, hi, Lisa, sneaking in from work. I appreciate you. So I thought that igloo was really cute. And then do you remember the gingerbread mugs we did a month or two ago? So they have these little penguin mugs, which are super cute. And then these little penguin friends. So I was thinking maybe doing the little penguin friends with the igloo, or the penguin friends. What do we think about that? Like a little mini scene, and maybe we could put some trees in the background. These aren't even on there. So the little penguin friends, and then the little igloo. I think we could do something fun with that. Okay. And then this is the winter greetings. I'm just putting these away. There's also a large Mary that I used for my cards for the Instagram hop today, which, by the way, there is an Instagram hop today. And so there is an opportunity to win. If you're on the Instagrams, you might want to just pop by and leave some comments. In fact, there's one, it's Carly's card, Carly T. Minor, if you're not familiar. She's very talented. And she used like some soft pastel colors on her shakers. And I really, really loved that. And so maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll just do some kind of soft colors, soft pastel colors. Oh, Michelle, hi. I thank you for, what time is it even for you? I'm so happy to see you popping in. Okay, so, and Susan's here, and Julie and Caitlin. Yeah, Caitlin, I think, were you on, I think she was on a hop on a different day. She was on the video hop, but I think her Instagram hop was on a different day. So there's all kinds of opportunities to wins. All right, so I think this is what we're going to go with. And then maybe I'll just put some trees in the background. Maybe these winter trees. I don't know. Let's start die cutting and we'll see what shakes out. Okay, sounds good. All of you are going to be like, the potato chip plate again. You're right. It is the potato chip plate again, but I offer you no apologies. Let's make it's 6 a.m. Oh my gosh, Michelle, girl, turn me off, roll over and go back to bed. Lord have mercy. All right, I'm going to make me small. Here I am. And then we're going to get into the die cutting. Oh, did you see? Okay, now you're just looking at my ceiling fan because I pushed off my desk. That was my bad. Okay. So I don't even have any paper cut. Look at me just jumping all over the place. Let's cut some papers first. So have you guys been having a good week? It's back to nicer weather here today, so I love that. Hi, Sherry. Okay. So yeah, what is it right now? It's a balmy 47, which some of you are probably like, that is not warm, but the sun is shining and there is no precipitation. So y'all, we got to take what we can get. We can't get greedy because what day? I can't remember. What day did my sister come over? Tuesday? Yeah, it wasn't Mondays because my Mondays are a mess. So I think it was Tuesday, and it was like rainy and cold and gross and yeah. All right. So I think that should be good. We'll have one for stamping, and then we're gonna die cut our pieces here. So let's get this cute little igloo out. Did you get to see the aurora lights? No, I didn't. I'm probably not far enough north. What's one of the things on my bucket list? PPS is. All right, so I think we need one as a base. And then we need one so like there's 1 and 1. We have to cut 2 of these and then cut this on top of it, is I think how it works. My everyday is a mess. Same. All right. And then we're just going to cut a couple of little trees here. So the igloo and some trees, and we'll do some ink blending on all of our things. And then we'll do the stamping and the die cutting to put our little penguins in, right? Yeah, okay, so I think this is all we need right now. Hello from Kansas. Oh, you saw them in Delaware on Tuesday night? Oh, I wish I would have known to look. I have tried in the past when they're like, oh, you should be able to see them. Like, I have gone out there and actively tried and seen nothing. Seen squat. Maybe I'm in like a little rural part of my area, like in the city. So I wouldn't even I would be like, well, maybe there's too many lights, but like I have the least amount of lights. All right. So now die cutting. My daughter, my dear, sweet child of mine. I was doing some die cutting downstairs last night on the kitchen table. She's at the age where she's having a hard time between, but I want to do it, and I've been told not to do it. And so I was die cutting, and I was like, you're welcome to help mommy. Oh, see, Michelle, you have the same problem. There's too much light pollution. Yeah, I don't know if that's my issue or what. But anyway, so she's stuck in a spot where she is like, I want to do what I want to do, but I've been told not to do what I want to do. And last night, the thing she was told not to do was put her stickers all over my die cutting machine. And did she do it anyway? Hi, Dawn. She certainly did. And then she had to take that. I told her, I was like, well, you got to take them all off. Like, I'm not, girl, you can't leave all them stickers there. I already told you not to do it in the first place. And okay, so here, this is the base. And I don't know if you can see. Let me zoom you in here. It has that like stitched embossed detail, which is great. It's so fun. Okay, back it up. The feral 4-year-old girl, you're not kidding. And so then she was like, it's taking so long and I want someone to help me. And I'm like, girl, you didn't need any help getting all the stickers on there. Like, why you need help getting the stickers off of there? But I did help her because everybody needs some help sometimes. All right, so now I do need, do I have another piece of white? Pre-cut? Nope, what are you even? What did one of my kids must have done that. Okay. I'll just do another one. So now I need another base piece of my little igloo. And we need a cover sheet. So we need this one. So we're going to put that on here. And it lines up really nicely with those like stitched edges so you can see where you're going. And then I'm going to tape that in place. Oh, hi, Linda. Yeah, it is a little bit challenging with the name, because I don't think YouTube can decide what it wants to do. So whatever your channel is, I think is now what is showing. Is that accurate? Okay. So now we're going to cut our top and cut our base. And I think we're going to be doing a lot of ink blending today. There we go. Okay. So now I don't actually think so this is meant to be a shaker, but I don't actually think I'm going to turn it into a shaker. I think I'm just going to use it as part of the scene. Yeah, I think that for today, I think that's what I'm going to do. Unless you guys are like, no, I'm dying to see it done as a shaker, which if you are, I will do it. But I feel like doing the shaker is probably better served not in a live, because do you really want to have to watch me cut that so many times? You probably don't. All right, here, this is this, and this is this, and these are these. That was my badge. Wish I could have just used my name. Oh, Yeah, see, mine used to be way back when I first started my channel. Mine actually was um, just like my, because you guys all know I worked for a police department. Mine was just my badge number. And then I changed it when I didn't even change it like that long ago. I changed it when this started becoming my full-time job. That's when I was like, fine, I guess I'll have to be serious about it. Okay. All right. So we have our cute little igloo. We have our little trees. And now I need to pick my penguins. All right. This is going to be my background. This is, you guys know, I love a dry fit to figure out what I'm doing here. And then maybe we have some trees. Some trees in the background. Those are cute little trees. All right, so if we want to create balance, we have the trees in the top left, then we have some penguins kind of down here in the bottom right. So is another thing that released in this release was a like snows and hills and stuff. I did not get those, but I will. I will be getting those. So I think we're going to keep this. I think we're going to keep this as just like a winter card. So I'm not going to do like the little Christmas trees and stuff. I think I'm going to do just, all right. So I like the little maybe I do a two penguin there. And then one over here. And then we could put the sentiment up here. That feels kind of balanced. Yes. And look at these little snowflakes. Can you see these? These cute little snowflakes are adorable, and a little bow. I like that. Okay. So I think that would be good. And I think we could play around with doing like a sky, like a pastel-y kind of sky, and doing those same colors on the igloo, because it would be white and it would kind of reflect the light in the sky. I think that would be really fun. I also think I want another tree. I'm gonna do a big one, I think. A big tree. Okay, so we're gonna do just this extra tree right here. And I'm not going to bring the whole thing back up. I'm just going to do it on the floor real quick. You guys know how I roll. All right. So normally my dogs are in here hanging out with me. But today they have decided that they would rather hang out in my bedroom without me than hang out in here with me. So no doggies today. I'm not saying that that's forever. One of them might swing around and make an appearance, I suppose. Okay, just go through. Thank you. Okay. That one was a struggle, but it was my own fault. I put it in crooked. Okay. Why am I always drawn to icy Christmas cards with penguins? It's hot here. That is so bizarre to me, like that it would be hot during Christmas, because even like in the States, even like our hot states are still much, much cooler than they would normally be. So, okay. I like that. So we're going to set these aside. and we're going to work on our ink blending first, and then we'll work on our Copic coloring. So all right. I have to get my nope, yes, nope, 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 nope. Yes. Okay. Oh, did I bump you again? Oh, I'm so sorry. I need to figure out a better situation for this guy, but I don't have one at the moment. So, all right. So these, I think probably a pink, and so I'm going to grab a little bit of peacock feathers and probably a little bit of kitsch flamingo, and I think a little bit of wilted violet. Is that going to be, I'll just grab this one just in case. Just in case. All right, so we have a blue. We have a couple of different options. You can have my white Christmas. I'll gift it to you. Michelle, come visit us in the States, and then you can have a white Christmas. All right, so these are what I've picked out. Now I just got to grab my my blenders. That's that one. That's this one. That's this one. I keep mine. How do you guys store yours? I have mine, these particular ones, like on a shelf. And so I can just grab them as I need them. Sometimes I do have to look around for the ones that I'm looking for that are maybe a little bit less, like this one. Okay, don't be coy, Blue. I know you're up here. Where are you? Did I maybe use them and not put them away? I'm good for that too. All right. Well, I'll worry about that if I actually get around to using that color. Okay. How much snow did we get? Enough snow that you could shovel it. We got enough snow that you could shovel it. I don't know how many inches that was because I don't watch the news. The news is very depressing. So I don't watch it. All right. I'm going to set these over here. And I'm trying to think how I would want this to go. So I think if we do a teal to blue to purple to pink, the pink would be the one that you would see the least of, but that's okay. Hi, Brandon. Okay, so Michelle, you tell me, Michelle, how much snow did we get? Okay. So I think we're going to start with the sky, so I know what I'm working with. So I'm going to, and so these ones can be like when we're doing multicolors, these can be the most challenging because in order to get like a really good blend, you need a lot of color saturation. And so it can be difficult if you're not layering all the colors over top of each other to get like a really good blend. But we're going to try. So I know I have to have my little igloo up at least here, I would think, for my penguins to fit. So if I want a penguin back here and a penguin up here. Okay. So like this way. Okay. So from the bottom, I like shaded lilac for my snow color. Okay, my sister says maybe an inch or so. That's how much snow we got. But I had to shovel it off my deck. Would you just make Pippin walk through it? You probably did just make Pippin walk through it, didn't you? Pippin is my dog niece. All right, so we're just going to add this here, and then we'll worry about adding more. I think we could probably add it to the bottom. Let's add it to the bottom of the igloo as well. All right, so this is my base piece. I'm going to add this kind of my snow shadow color to the bottom. Yes, I knew you did. My poor Pippers. She's such a good baby. Okay. Do you guys use a lot of pastel colors? I like the way that they look when other people do like use them, but I struggle to use them because I like so much contrast, and I haven't learned yet how to create the contrast without having those darker colors. All right, so now we're going to go, what do we decide? Pink, purple, blue, teal, I think is what we decided. All right, so I'm going to go in first. Hello. Hi, Paulina. Thank you for popping in. We are using our igloo and our penguin friends to do a little scene card. Okay, so here I'm going to do the pink across. And then I'm going to try doing this one. I'm going to keep the wilted violet over here, like just in case I need it. But I am going to see if I can make it work with the shaded lilac. Because that, I don't know. I really, really like the way Carly did her cards. If you haven't seen, like if you haven't pit stopped the Instagram hop, I would highly recommend it. All the days have a lot of great inspiration, but hers is like the first stop on the hop today. And I just really loved her little pastel penguins. I thought they were so cute. Okay. So there's that. And then we're going to go into the actual blue. And I am just going to kind of like tap this off over here a little bit and then bring it in because I don't want it to be as blue as it could be. Does that make sense? Like I don't want it to be crazy. But I do want it to be enough to blend. Okay. And then we will do our salvage patina. Okay. And so like we talked about before with the blending, like you can see how we kind of have some bands of the colors. We will try to work those out as we build up the color. The first, like be kind to yourself with your ink blending. The first layer never looks super great for any of us. It's not just you. It's all of us. All right. So I am going to add just a smidge, just the littlest, teeniest, tiniest bit of peacock feathers up at the top here. And I'm thinking maybe that tealish color will be what I do my trees in. Okay. So we got a little bit up there at the top. I'm a big fan of that. And then we'll go back in and we'll work our way back through. And this time I am going to be a little bit more heavy-handed because I want them to have a good amount on there now that I have set up where each color is going to be. I want them to work nicely together. Oh, look at, there she is. So Carly, we are making a card based on the colors of your cards because I loved them so much. So thank you for the inspiration because them little penguin shakers were adorable. Okay. So now one of the tricks to getting the colors to blend, besides doing multiple layers, is also going back over it with the previous color, and that will help them to blend together and to make friends. So now we have a pretty good blend going between our teal and our blue. And so sometimes it just takes a little bit of patience to build up the color, which I got to tell you is really rich coming from me because I do not have a lot of patience. Oh, my sister and I talk all the time about how, like, mom was a literal saint, her and my grandmother. Like, I do not know where they got their patience from. I wish they would have passed it. I wish they would have passed it down. All right. So I really like that shaded lilac. And then I'm going to go back in with that blue and help them to make friends. Okay. And then back onto the pink. Oh, look how pretty that is with the purple. Oh, yeah. What a fun little winter sky. All right. And then we'll go back in. Where did I set it? Here it is. I was very patient with the stitching yesterday. I like stitching. That doesn't bother me. Same thing with like cross stitching or like the stitching dies. I like all of those. All right. So I'm pretty happy with the blend that I'm getting here. I had little patience before kids and now I feel like I have zero. Same girl, same. Okay. So I am pretty happy with this, the way that this is looking. I'm going to check my little igloo here. And we still are seeing some of those colors, which I do very much like. I think that doing the little trees in the background, I think is going to be super fun. So let's do some ink blending on this igloo that's going to reflect those sky colors. So I'm thinking I'm kind of going to do it, I think, at like a diagonal. I want to like stitching, but yeah, girl, I totally get that. That's like with it, like when it comes to like die cuts and stuff, like I struggled for a really long time until I found my own way to really like them. And now we're okay, we're good friends now. All right. So I think I think I'm gonna do it as like a diagonal blend so that there is still some white in there. I think that's going to be the best way to go about it. All right, so let's go in with our pink. And I'm going to do that kind of, I don't want it to be all the same. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be where the pink, and then maybe we'll do some over here. Okay. And I am being very light-handed. Yeah, my little just turned 4. You guys know that we just did her birthday party, and it is she's so smart though. She's so smart, and it's almost like it's kind of like a detriment because she is like too smart. You know what I'm saying? All right, what am I doing? I'm going to do I think some blue. So here, I don't want I'm just going to tap it off a little so that I can go in and get a nice soft blend. Because like I said, I still want there to be some white. And you guys know me, I'm still going to add shading with some markers. It's not just going to be all ink blending because, well, I have no self-control. Yes, my sister is saying that she is a little me, but I cannot acknowledge that because then I would have to admit that my husband is right, and well, we all know I can't have that. All right, so then here we're gonna bring in the teal. He already one time I said he was right in a video, and then he turned it into a ringtone. Like he can't be trusted. Okay, and this is just what's left over from the peacock feathers, just to make that a little bit darker. All right, so let's see how that's looking. I do love a dry fit. All right, that's super cute. Now let's see how it looks in our little scene. Oh, I do like this. I do like this. Oh, and maybe we'll put some glitters on it. Wouldn't that be? Can't set that precedent. Exactly, Brandon. Exactly. All right. So I am very much liking this. And I think I'm going to do some darker teals for the trees. Maybe I'll just leave them white. What if we just left them white? Just white trees. Do I like that? I like how they're kind of popping. All right, I'm going to leave them white for now because I am not committed. Okay. So now I'm going to set this aside so that we can do our coloring. I got to get my stampers. If I don't close these, then I will inevitably knock them over. And they will fall and roll around. Okay. I am going to very quickly wipe this up. Okay. Glitter snowflakes. Yes. I like the idea of adding the glitters. I'm here for that. All right. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to, did I not have yeah, I did. I was going to say, do I not have a piece of white that I could stamp these on? But I do. All right. So we got our 2 and our 1. And we will be die cutting these out. Okay. Have to find a black. Okay. Oh, hi, Denise. Thanks for stopping in. All right, there we go. See, that's funny. You guys are all like, oh, I have all boys. I have all boys. And I come from a family where we were all girls. And then my oldest sister has 2 boys. My middle sister has 1 girl. And then we got 1 of each. So they both have their benefits. I will say that. All right. So let's take this little guy out. And then we'll zoom in to do our coloring. I'm going to trim this off so that I can have just, I got to move my stuff, just this one piece. Okay. So let's zoom us in. Okay. And I just remember those that happy when they're right are only that way because they're wrong so often. It's exciting to them. Oh, is that why my husband's so overjoyed whenever he's right? When he is genuinely right, I have no issue admitting that he is right. Okay. So we're going to go in first. So penguins obviously are black and white, right? We know that. So we want to color the white portion of the penguin first before we do the black, because a lighter color can very easily pick up a darker color. So here we go. We're going to do all of our whites first. So here, this little part of the body is white. Where the hat is sitting on top of it, we're going to have some shadow. Where the scarf is sitting on top of it, shadow. Definitely in here, going to be dark because we have 2. And then underneath that, and then right next to that one. Over here, we have the same situation with the scarf. So we are going to fill those in. Okay. All right. And then we're going to go in with the C3. Bye, Brandon. And I'm going to add just a little bit at the bottom of the tummy. And underneath his little nose now with the C3. I am still going to go over that C, even though we filled in the whole thing. Since lighter colors kind of lift darker colors, I am going to go into that little triangle, even though it's filled in. Okay, under the nose, next to the scarf. Okay. Oh, did I miss a question? Let me go back and look. Okay. I have 3 sisters. No, I saw that one. Okay. What's the best ink to stamp with for Copa coloring? I'm having trouble with smearing. That's the question that I missed. So this one in particular is from Honeybee Stamps. There are several on the market. I like Honeybees. I like Hero Arts. Intense black ink, but you do want to make sure that you are looking specifically for inks that are made for alcohol markers. Because if you are using just a regular black ink or like an archival ink, they will smear. All right. So now I know they look a little gray. It's cool. Hang tight. We're going to be, if you stamp multiple times, which sometimes I do because I like a bold black outline, then you may need to give it time to dry, or you may need to heat set it if you've done multiple layers. Okay, so now that's done. I'm not going to do the bodies of the penguins yet because I don't know. I think I'm going to try to do some of the colors that are in the background just so everything works really well together. So I'm going to pull out some teals. I'm going to pull out some, what do I got? A 9, a 4, a 6. Do I have a 2 over here? Or is 2 still in here? Okay. Thanks, but I don't support honeybee stamps anymore. Oh, that's different. Okay. So there's that and there's that. And then we have the purple. What did I do with my chart? I put all my stuff on top of it, is what I did with it. Okay. Well, I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to go with the blue violets. I think that will be the best option. BV04, 0200. I'm just going to do these on a little test piece. Just to make sure, because it's been a while since I've used these. Yep, that'll do. Okay. And then I do kind of have like a bluish kind of thing going if I needed another color. Bye, Lisa. have a good rest of your day at work. Okay, 2 and 0, 0. All right. Oh, Andrea, don't apologize. You're fine. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what we're going to use here, but I've pulled out kind of the colors of what our background is so that I can repeat them. All right. I do have to do their little feet and their little beaks orange because they are actually orange. But I am going to try to pay attention to the, like, that we're using the pastels. So I am going to pick some lighter ones. Like a YR04 would be my normal go-to. So I'm going to go just a little bit lighter with the 2 and the 0, 0. Okay. So I'm going to do the feet closest to the body because they're sticking out. So remember, when two objects lay on top of another, we have shadows. There we go. And then I'm just going to blend out with this 0, 0. So even though they aren't colors that are in the background, they are still very much along that same saturation level. Okay. Very cute little feet. Oh, you're fine, Denise. Don't go check on mom. That's no problem. All right. So now I feel like we might do, I like the white trees, but we might do them teal. So I do want to repeat that in here. So let's do this here. This is kind of like my go-to combination for my teals. And I think I'm going to do this a little stripy bit, I think. And we'll just pick one side or the other too. So we're not I want to keep the pastels pastel, so I'm only adding just a little bit of the darkest color to create the dimension, but I'm gonna leave the majority of it open for the lighter color. So it still has dimension, everything still matches, but we're not okay. And then I think, um, I think we're gonna do the little fluffy bits. So I'm concentrating some dots around where it dips in and then adding. So with this one, I'll do where it dips in first so it's easier to see. So there. And then we do a couple of other little dots. The dots are going to help it look fluffy. Okay. Hello, and we are coloring penguins and Valencia from sunny Southern Ohio. We are having sun in Northern Ohio too as well, and that is very appreciated by me. Okay, so then we're going to go over this with our midtone in the dots, and then we will go in with our lightest color. And even though it doesn't seem like there's a lot of real estate in there to do those 3 colors of dots, remember your lightest color, doesn't matter what brand of alcohol markers you're using, this is true of all of them. The lightest color will remove some of the darker color, so it helps to create a better blend. So we have those, we have this, and then on this little penguin, I am going to do his little fluffy hat trim in the same color. Okay. So this is kind of like my base kind of go-to color, and then the other ones we will be able to throw in as accents. And remember, when you're coloring, make sure you're taking your lightest color over your darker colors to help them blend together. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so is it Brianna or Brianna? What is the pronunciation? You have to let me know. Okay. So that's that. And now let's go in. I think we'll do this blue violet combination. I find that whatever color I start with, thanks Carly. Thank you so much for the inspiration. Have a good rest of your day. I find that whatever color I start with tends to be the color that I use the most of. And so I just know that about myself, and that's fine. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do this other stripe. I'm going to do the one next to, want to keep it consistent. And for this one, I think we'll do the trim in this color. Okay. And again, the little fuzz ball. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to put the lid on the wrong part. All right. So now we're gonna bring that up. And again, make sure we're gonna go over that previous color to help them blend. I don't use blue violet very often. I should probably use it more. So pretty. Okay. And then here. Okay. So now I think I am going to do this little penguin's hat, the blue violet, and I'm gonna leave this. Thanks, Paulina. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so here on this part, I am gonna take my darkest color and I'm just gonna extend that out a little bit. And that's gonna help push them to be two different segments. This is BV04, 02, and 00. After I'm done, I will update the supply list in the description. So I am going to add a little bit of a heavier shadow over here. And that one little line, I know it seems crazy because it's just a little line. Oh, Maggie, hi. So glad you could make it. And that will really help to give it so much shape. Okay, and then we're going to come in from here. And I'm going to leave that right next to that darkest color. I'm going to leave that for my highlight because then it's really going to push it forward. And so it looks like the hat is folded over on itself, which is going to add a lot more interest. Okay, so now we have that and that. And then I think I'm going to do, let me look at here. This sometimes does help too. I think I'm going to do the pink. I think that's what I'm going to do. But originally I would go darker and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to go lighter. So the 6 might be too much. Okay. I'm going to pull out a lighter combination and I'm going to try it, but I cannot make any guarantees because I am who I am. I am who I am, people. Okay. So we're going to try with an RV00, a 02, and a 04. I'm not saying that I'm going to stay married to it. We're just going to date and then we'll see. All right. So here I'm going to do this pink. I do love the pink. And again, this is our darkest color. So we're going to come up. We're following the shape of this hat. And then we're just going to keep doing that round part. Add some shading over here as well. Okay. I feel like these are such good wintry colors. All right. And then this way, I'm going to take that back and leave that highlight where it's going to sit there right on top. And then my lightest color will fill in that highlight. I hope that you guys can see. Okay, there we go. I'm Brianna, but all my teachers used to say Brianna. At my first school, it was a very uncommon name back then. I'm 45, so it's becoming more popular. I actually have a cousin who is a Brianna, and she's, what is she? Probably 30 now, would be my guess. Okay. So then here, I'm going to do these pink. And the little tails will have shadow because they're sitting on top of one another. Okay. And especially, like, we talked about how the lighter colors will lift darker colors. That is especially true of your pinks and the Copic markers. They will just absolutely eat up your darks. Okay. So we have teal and purple, teal and pink, and then teal, purple, and pink. I think that's good. I think that's a cute little, like, I think those are cute. All right, so now we're going to move on to coloring black. And everybody gets scared because black is a dark color. Black is black. And my daughter, Brianna's name is both my husband's and my names together, Brian and Anne. Brianna. And she's 25. Oh, that's cute. That's fun. Yeah, my child is named after everybody. She's named after like every woman in our family, with the one exception being my grandmother, because my grandmother's name was Dorothy Ray, and there was just no good way to work it in there, even though I desperately wanted to. And I suppose I didn't take anything from my mom's actual name, but my mom had always said if she had a fourth daughter, she would have named her Katie. So, you know, that's like the nod to my mom. Okay, so C5, C7, C9, and the black 100. We're going to go in with our black, and we're going to put this where we want it to be the darkest. So here, right underneath the hat, going to be the darkest. And I'm going to add some dark underneath these little wings. Wings? Flippers. What are they called? I don't know. And I'm going to add just a little bit underneath the belly, because I feel like that would be very dark down there. And then the C9, going to fill that in, extend these out. And remember, your shadow color and your highlight color are what you're going to see the least of. Your midtones is what you will see the most of. So now here, we're really going to fill in the majority of this, and we're only going to leave the highlight portion left, which in this case will just be on the tip of the wing flipper wing. I'm not sure. Okay, so now you might say, Kelly, why do you need 4 colors to color one little penguin? And I'll tell you what is an excellent question. So here we have 2 penguins that are on top of each other, right? One little, in fact, you can even see right here how his little arm is like around. So if I went in and colored this whole penguin black, and I colored this whole penguin black, they would be one penguin. They would just merge together, which we don't want. So by allowing that highlight on top of that wing, when I come in here and do my shadow color underneath that wing, and of course underneath my scarf as well, and we did say under the belly, we want to stay consistent. So this one, because he's got, or she's got so much more going on, she is going to be a much darker penguin. Okay. And then we'll add underneath here. Just like that. I think they're wings. I would call them wings. That's my natural inclination, is to call them wings. And then I'm going to add some black up from the nose, and then from the, there we go. Okay. So now I'm going to go in with the C9. I'm going to go over top of that black and then just extend it out just a little bit. Same thing here. Okay. Did I get this one? Doesn't look like I did. Okay. And then the 7, so we'll fill this in here. And I am going to leave that little bit. But here you can see how you can still see his little flipper wing is in front. They are not one solid color. Okay. And then I will use my highlight color for this wing around the face and the top of the head. There we go. Can you imagine if penguins could fly? Big birds like turkeys. Oh, I would love to see a penguin fly. Okay, so now again, under the hat. On the nose. The scarf. And underneath this scarf. Like, I'm not going to say you don't have to be a little bit more careful when you're doing your darker colors, because obviously you do. Caitlin, Google says flippers. Google, yes, girl. You know I like to know all the answers. So you do want to be a bit more careful when you're using a darker color, but you still want to put them in. Like, if you have something that you want to look black, you still want to put a little bit of black into it. Okay, and then there's that. Penguin wings are called flippers because they've evolved for swimming, not for flight. I love that. That makes, honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. All right, now I'm trying to think. Maybe this is just like because like the mom in me. I'm not entirely sure. But like when I'm sitting here coloring, I am thinking about like the next whatever things that I have to do. Do you guys do that? Like before I was editing a video and I was thinking about like, okay, well, what am I going to do for dinner tonight? So in between my taking my shower and all of that stuff, I put a pork tenderloin in the crock pot in the crock pot. And now, like as I'm sitting here doing my coloring, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with those trees? How am I going to add sparkle to those? Like, am I the only one who's like 10 steps ahead? Use phone to read chats. New contacts next week. Can't read from Telly anymore. Oh, it is challenging. We're all on the struggle bus with the eyesight. My husband today actually went to his yearly plan. So here, I just wanted to show you. I did go out of the lines here just a little bit. This isn't anything that I would normally go back and do, but just in case you want to go back and do it, you can with the colorless blender. Just go back in and then we just kind of push it towards where we want the pigment to go back to. So just know that even if you do get a little bit heavy-handed, you can fix it. Yes, always multiple tabs. I'm clipping through. Same. Oh my gosh, I am always. I am always just like, what's happening? What am I doing? What's happening? Okay. So let's zoom us back out now. Oh, you know what? No, we have to add shading to our igloo. What am I doing? Okay. So now we could just pick one of these colors and do the shading with that. But I am just going to stick with my cool grays to add my shading in. All right. So I'm trying to think what is going to be the best way to shade them together or shade them apart. I almost think that I don't know. All right, I'm going to go in with the C1 and we're going to see. I would still use dark blue. Comic books do it when there's a bunch of black. So Denise, when I color black hair, I typically do use a navy or a violet. But for animals, I do tend to stay to a true black. Okay. So I am gonna just mark these out real quick with a C1. And then we'll see if we need to add any more shading once we shade the top layer, I mean. I hope that makes sense. And I clearly need to re-ink this sad little marker. Oh, I have actually two C1s. So I'll have to see if the other one has some ink. If it doesn't, we might be doing a live re-inking. Yeah, because look at that. That's no good. All right, let's see. Did I pull them both out? Are they both on my desk? That does seem like something I would do. It is. Okay. Oh, good. This one has ink. Perfect. All right. There we go. And then we have the door. So I'm going to leave that right now, like that way for right now. And then I'm going to add some shading here. All right. So here I'm going to go in because you would have like darker shading, like as it went back. And then I am going to kind of bring this up and then just take it into the little kind of predetermined creases of where the blacks are. Question, do you store your Copics vertically or horizontally? I stored mine vertically. That is how I store mine. But I also store my Olos horizontally. It just depends on, honestly, like in the housing. I don't have special housing for my Copics. Olo has those towers, which are really, really nice. And so I did buy some of those towers, and that is why they're stored differently. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my darkest color, and I'm just committing to the darkest part being horizontal. Okay. And so now I'm going to go in. I'm going to go over top of this C5 with my C3. And then here is where I'm going to really kind of start extending that out into the blocks. But remember, we're coloring, even though it's got color on it, it's still white. Like the coloring that you're seeing is the reflection of the sky. So we don't want to be too crazy with our shadows because they're not, we're not trying to color it gray. I hope, does that make sense? Tell me if you need me to try to explain it a different way. All right, so there's that. I am taking them up just a little bit on the, okay. And then this one is going to be, kind of where that shading fades off into the color that we have there. So we've added the shadows, but we're still keeping it pretty light. I'm going to have to re-ink both of these by the time we're done, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. Get that blended out. Okay. So now let's see. You have been a colorist and worked with Copics for a long time. If you were to buy now, would you go Copic or Olo? So I started my, okay, I do like the way that looks. I do want to blend the inside out a little bit more. And this needs to be darker, right? Because it's like a tunnel going in. So that part does need to be darker. So I started actually with Marvi Ukerta markers. And then I switched to, once I realized that I wanted to use the markers, I invested in my Copics. And at the time, that was really the only thing that was on the market. So now, if I had to do it all over again, I do enjoy my Copics quite a bit. So I think that knowing how much I love to color, I would probably still invest in them, but I would really, really consider the Olos because they are very good and the price point is so much better. And if I had never started with Copics, maybe it wouldn't be a problem. But there is a little bit of a learning curve with the free flow ink. So, but again, if I hadn't started on Copics, would I even know that? Would I even know that that was an issue? And it's not, I guess it's not an issue for everybody. It's just an issue for me because I started with a different marker. My refills are down below my desk. So I know that you can see me in the corner, but I am going to disappear for just a minute because I have to find, and there it is. Okay. And apparently I need to buy a new one because look at, I just have the littlest bit. All right, let me back this up in case you don't know how to, this is the old Copic refill, not the new one. So I'm going to scoot these over so I don't ruin them. These are both my C1s. So this is how I refill them. I pop the tops off. And then I typically do remove the nib with a pair of tweezers because, especially with the darker colors, like I don't want it on my hands. Oh yeah, Denise is talking about Ohuhu. My friend Jen just got a large grouping of those. I have not used them. I'm not opposed to trying them. Right now I don't have the need to purchase another set of markers. All right, so I did a couple of drops in there, and then I'm looking down here to see whether or not it is sufficiently wet. Lighter colors do have a tendency to need more ink than darker colors. Okay. And then I can put my little guys back in, and I can put my little caps back on. and then we can proceed. Okay. So I'm just gonna blend those out just a little bit. And I'm not, like, I do want to keep them light in the middle. These other ones, not this one, not the tunnel doorway one, the ones that are on the outside. So I do want to keep them light in the middle. So in order to do that, I am, going around the edge with this C1, but then I'm going to go in to the middle with that colorless blender. And that's the wrong side. I don't want the chisel. Into the middle and just kind of move that ink back. It's going to look darker at first because, it has the moisture of the marker, but as it dries, it will get lighter. Okay. And I don't have to worry about like the actual color in the background because we did that with ink blending, so that won't be affected by our coloring at all. Okay. There we go. And now I'm going to put this guy on top of it. Okay. I am liking that very much. I feel like he is much more dimensional. All right. So our little igloo will go here. Look how cute that is. And then we need to cut out our penguins. We also need to figure out what we're going to do for our sentiment. So we decided, I think we're going to try to see. I think I'm going to leave the trees white, truly. So we're going to do a tall tree. And a medium tree. Like that. And then we'll do our little penguins down here. I do like leaving these white. So, all right, let's die cut these. And I think I'm gonna, you know what, because it's gonna need time to dry. So let's do the trees. Here's what I'm gonna do with the trees. I am going to, I'm gonna glitter them. I can't help it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna glitter them. Okay. So I know I don't need to do all of them because, you're only going to see just the top part of it sticking up, but that's what we're doing. Okay, so this is grit paste in Snowfall. And I'm just going to put it on the edges to add some texture. You guys know that I like to snow the things. Okay. And then stay there. And then I'm just going to dunk it because I don't need a ton. Will I be able to do that? No, I'm going to have to. That's all right, though. Okay, so then here we have our snowy, glittery goodness. And we're going to be able to let that dry while we do our other things. That's why we have to do it now. Okay. So this actually, this works really, really well, but it is a water-based product. So I learned this last season the hard way. If you are, if you want to add the snow and the glitter to things that you've inked, there are other ways to do that. In fact, maybe I'll just do a whole video on that, like the different ways to add the snow depending upon what works, for what you got going on. Okay. Tap off our extra. See, because it's not adding any color, it's just adding like the texture and the glitter, which I think is going to be beneficial to us, because then it's still going to allow our sky to pop, but we'll add a little bit more interest. I am going to add glitter to my igloo as well, but I'm not going to add it with this. Because I don't want to cover up all of that beautiful ink blending that we did. Okay. All righty. I'm going to do one more. You probably won't even be able to see it. I don't know why I feel the need to go all the way down. I'm a completist. Like if I'm doing it, I gotta want to see it all done in its entirety. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then those will dry. So I did say this in a video recently. I think actually, Lisa, was it you? Okay. So you guys would like to see that video. Okay. I can definitely do that. Put something together. If I was a paper towel. So when I did this, so funny. When I did this originally, like with a little craft catcher, I poured it this way, right? Because that's what made sense to me, because that was the open side. And then in the video, somebody was like, why don't you use the side that is funneled for pouring? Yes, brilliant, brilliant idea. Why did I not think of that? I have no answer for you. Honestly, I don't know. Okay. All right. Okay, so those two are done. And I'm gonna set these over here so I don't bump them to dry. And then now we'll work on the die cutting. So this is this guy, and I think it's this one. Nope, this is the tree. This is the guy with the tree. It's this one. There we go. Okay. So put him right there. I think these guys are darling. Okay. And line this little guy up. I have another small piece over here somewhere. There we go. Alrighty. And, nope. Yep. I'm just going to bend over and do it. You might be able to see me over here. Come this way. There we go. Okay. So now we have these cute little guys. Apparently I've used that one too many times. All right. Cute, cute, cute. Yeah, I would agree. The trying, like Cynthia, the trying of everything, I think is super important because everybody has different goals. Like what you maybe have a goal with your markers are not the same. Like Jen Shirkus, she's endlessly talented, and she and I have two very different styles of coloring. That doesn't mean that hers isn't good. It's great. And it doesn't mean that just because it's two different ways doesn't mean one is bad and one is good. It just means that it's totally different from one another. So if you have different goals, you might not need to make the same kind of investment that somebody else is making. All right, so we have our little penguins here. No, my intention was to put them down farther, and then this guy back up here. So they're adorable. Okay. We'll have to give them some little ground in their feet. And then we'll have our trees. So this is the sentiment, your snow much fun, that maybe we'll just do this. I got to do something to break up this background, I think. Do I just leave it? Can I just leave it alone? I don't know. I am who I am. All right. So there's that one. There's the Your Snow Much Fun. And then there is Love You Snow Much. That one is very cute as well. And then we have the Winter Greetings. But so here you can see this on my other card. This is quite large. And I do think that it would be a bit too large for what we have going on here. So I think one of these, I think I'm just actually gonna, I need to clean it first of all. I need to clean it. But I think I'm just maybe gonna stamp it in black on white. Okay. All right. So don't we have a little, is there a part of this that is somewhat clean that I could stamp on? I think so. I think there is. All right, I gotta put away my penguins. There we go. Okay. I think that, Cynthia, I think that's a great way to look at it. I think we're all still learning. Like even myself, who, has been doing this and, teaches different things. And I also am still learning. All right. So I'm just going to, I think maybe I did not zoom out all the way. There we go. Okay. So now I'm just going to stamp it in black because I think if I put it right with where the white tree is, it'll kind of blend in right there. And then we can add some gemstones or something too. Okay. Didn't all of us watch Bob Ross? Like, isn't that that part of being a crafter? The watching of the Bob Ross? Because I certainly watched him. Connie, I have full set syndrome. Oh, yeah. See, you don't need them all though. Like, I know that it's super hard, but you don't need them all. Even I don't have them all because some of them are just too close. All right, I'm just going to trim this into a little label. It's a little too close, so I'm going to scoot it down. There we go. It moved anyway. That is one of the things about this type of trimmer when you're trying to do little bits. You're better off with a guillotine. And I have a guillotine, so why aren't I using it? That's an excellent question. All right, let's try it again. To get a little straight edge. There we go. See, this is why they're so nice, because do you see this? Where to go? This teeny tiny little piece that I cut off, and now it's straight. Okay. There. Okay. A little bit more. There we go. Okay. My in-laws use Bob Ross as their lullaby for their afternoon naps. That's so funny. I'm trying to collect the distressing packs and anchors. I prefer the minis, but they're hard to find. Oh, that was one of my first investments. Like, I didn't invest in colored cardstock. I invested in inks. And so I do think I have them all in the distress inks. I don't own all the re-inkers though, but I have them all in the distress inks. I don't have them all in the oxides. All right, so there's our little label. Let me check my trees here. How are we looking? They're a little wet still, but you know me. I have no patience. We're going to push through. All right. Okay. I have to glue this together. I have attempted to color with alcohol markers. No success. I think I need to take a class. Well, yeah, there are lots of good classes out there that you can take. There's also, lots of content that's available on YouTube if you just find a colorist that you enjoy what they're coloring or what their teaching style is. That is actually how story time was invented, because when I was watching other people's YouTube videos, like they would play music and I'm like, I can put the music on there and I have done it once or twice, but I don't really love it because we're not really learning anything. So, all right. I think we will pop these up, this igloo and our penguins. So I'm going to lay them here for now so that I can get them into position, like glue them to each other, and then I will. All right, this one we wanted to have down further, so we're only come over this way a bit. Okay, there we go. So there's no glue underneath here. There's just glue on this part. Oh, Susan, thank you so much. That's such a lovely compliment. All right. And then this one, I'm going to do a little bit closer here. So that way we have a little bit of, even though we're not doing like a whole crazy, you know, scene and all of that, like we have a little bit of depth. And then I am also going to, I'm going to do their shadow, but I'm not going to do, normally I would do their shadows in the grays, which you can do, but I'm actually going to do their shadows in the blue violets, just the 02 and the 00. So this is not glued down. I'm just holding it, and I'm going to give them a little shadow underneath their little feet. Okay, and then over here, and then also under my little igloo. Yes, I am coloring the white outline on my die cut because of where it is seated. It will need to blend into those purples. Oh, Brandon's back again. Did we craft through the entirety of your workday and now you're back again? Are my lives that long? Are they that long that people are like finishing their workday before and are still able to come back again? Okay. So I'm going to fill that in. I'm going to go over top of this. And then back over here. Okay. You have a few how-to videos explaining the basics. My opinion is to watch and do practice. Yeah, practice is super important. I probably could, like, because I've always just colored my own way of coloring. I probably could revisit some of the basics. So I am going to go in. Now this is a BV quadruple 0 so that I can kind of blend this out a little bit more. Okay. That clearly needs to be re-inked as well. But we managed to make it through. And then I'm going to go back in just with the colorless blender so that I can get this to kind of fade out to that white. All right, there we go. So you can blend in like the white outline into the igloo. They're such pale colors. I don't really think it's necessary. So I'm not going to be overly concerned about it. Here, I'm just going to fill this in because remember, I want to pop that up. So I don't want you to be able to like look underneath it and be like, wow, there's a lot of white space underneath there. So that way when it's hovering, you know, here, you can, from the side, it still looks like it's colored. Okay. So now we have our trees. And I am going to put these on. Yes, that is why I do the shadows, Hockey. So that way they don't look like they're floating in midair. All right. So this one, I'm going to take all the way up. So we have 3 different sizes of trees, but this one is definitely a smaller. That would be cute, like if you were going to give them a little Christmas tree. But since I want the trees in the background, I still want 3 sizes of trees, but I'm just going to change where I adhere them to change the height. Okay. And then, so here, I'm going to do this one just slightly lower, even though it's the same exact tree, like just by pairing them a little, or, stacking them a little bit lower, one will appear like it is a different height. And then this one I'm going to do here. So at a 3rd height, because remember, we like working in 3s or odd numbers, 3s, 5s, 7s. Your brain likes that. Your brain does not like pairs. Not artistically anyway. All right, so I'm just going to have to hold this. Okay, that's actually not too bad. That one's almost completely dry. All right, so now we have our penguins here. We know where they're going. And, oh, see, now I wish I would have moved this one up. I should have, I didn't dry fit it, and I should have. Okay, now, there we go. Now we can at least see all 3 of the trees. All right, so then there's that. And this we can put up here to tie in to our little white tree, so it won't be too, or we could do it down here, like over the little door. I think I might like that better. That's cute. I love that you guys are all encouraging each other with your cards and your coloring. That's great. Okay, let me scoot in. Okay, so I think that I am actually going to put this here, but because I'm going to put this here, then now I have to add a little bit of shading to it because I can't just let it be. It's going to look like maybe a little sign above the door now. So I'm just going to use the C3 and the C1. So it looks very stark right now. This will help it blend in a little bit more. And I'm super grateful that I stamped in a Copic Safe ink. Okay, so now your Snow Much Fun right over the door. I think that's super cute. And I am going to, this is a water-based black marker. And so I'm just going to use this to go around the edge here. If you use an alcohol marker, it will sink in. But here I'm just coloring the edges to help it stand out a bit from the igloo. Okay. And then that will help it stand out a little bit. Okay, I do like this. I think we're coming along, folks. All right. So, where's my glue? Here it is. And I want to make sure we're straight. Okay, and then we'll do here, your Snow Much Fun. There we go. Are we straight? Sometimes I gotta pick it up and look at it. Okay. Joy, I do have a playlist that is like Copic markers, alcohol markers. Okay. All right, now let's pop this bad boy up. See my big roll of foam tape. You guys don't get to see this on videos normally. Okay. God, that's so loud. Sorry. They're such good scissors, but they are heavy duty. They mean business. And I have a glass mat, so they're like, when I set them down, it's super loud. All right. So I think I don't know. Should we make it snow? Should we just leave it as it is? Decisions. All right, so now we're popped up. Yes, it is huge, and it is all to new. Yes to both, Denise. All right, so now let's start. Okay. Let's add in our details, and then I will make a decision about if it's going to snow or not. I have to find my white gel pen. Here we go. Okay. All right. So this is just clear glitter. And I'm going to add this to my little guys. And their little feet and their little noses and their feet and their noses. And then, of course, we'll add it to the igloo all over. Now, we did do ink blending, so we have to be conscientious of the fact that too much moisture will move our ink blending around. Okay. Do you have white sparkle paint to do splatter or just the gel pen? So that is the thing. That is the thing. There's a couple of different ways you can do snow. And I think we should make it snow. That's what I think. Okay. So here we're going to do a little highlight on their little nose and then on their little wings. You can also do it on the hat where the highlights are and on the nose. And then here I'm going to do some dots over his little puffy ear warmers. Let me zoom you in. I feel like you're kind of fun. Oh, reverse. Okay. So here, when we're doing this, we're actually going over the black outline of the stamp, and that is going to help make them look foofy. And then here, like when you have something that is plain, we can always add a pattern to it. I'm going to add little polka dots to this one just to make him more interesting. I like that a lot. I am going to add a little highlight here in the middle of my scarf and kind of up from the bottom. Okay. All right. I think that's very, very adorable. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the way that this looks, but I do want to add I do want to add some snow. So first things first, I'm going to add the glitter to my igloo. You could also do this with like a glitter glaze if you wanted to. I find this to be a much easier application that dries much quicker. So I'm not going to do the whole thing because remember I did the shimmer pen over the whole thing. So I'm just going to add this particular one to the raised areas and make it nice and glittery. Don't worry, I will hold it up so that you can see it when I get all the glitters on it. And then here, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just kind of going to do the outline just like the rest of it looks. Okay. So here you can see the glitters. Brandon, I didn't color them in because they're really not that noticeable with all the pastels. Oh, okay. So there's that. So I am going to I'm going to show you like a controlled version of the snow and then a less controlled version. So I am going to take my glitter right here, my little stickles, and I am going to do dots all over as if they were catching the little bit of light in the sky. Okay, now here's the trick about snow. If you want it to look like it's snowing, then you have to put your dots even in front of your characters, which not everybody likes to do this. But then it doesn't look like it's snowing, it looks like stars. Get what I'm saying? All right. Now you can be strategic, like you don't have to put it like in their eyeballs or anything. So here this is like the most subtlest way to do a little bit of falling snow. Now, if you're like, there's no white in there, you are correct. So we can add some more snow with our white gel pen. And again, it's not going to look like snow if you don't put it over your characters. And you can make them as little or as large as you would like. I like to do a mix of the two. So that way it looks a little bit more organic. So these are very, very controlled ways to add our sparkly snow. And really, it doesn't take that long. You might think like, oh, I got to add dots on everything. Like that's going to be very time consuming. But really, it's not too terrible. I mean, I don't think it's too terrible. Okay. So that is another way that you can add snow to your little snowy scenes. The other way, which not everybody's going to like because there's not as much control. So you can do it with a couple of different things, but the way that I prefer is to do either spatter with just acrylic paint. This is Apple Barrel. I got it from Walmart for like 50 cents. This is a Hero Arts acrylic spray, acrylic spray. Words are hard. Why? So why would you're like, why wouldn't I pay 50 cents? Why would I buy this one? Honestly, this one is more opaque and it's already a liquid form. This one, once you add water to it, it becomes slightly less opaque. So you have a like thin for splatter, but thicker for more opaque. So it does get a little bit dicey. This one's kind of already done for you. Um, and so you could actually just spatter it right from there, but I'm not going to because I do want some control. Okay. Now, what did I had a paintbrush because I had it in a photo. Here it is. Okay. So now I am going to get my paintbrush wet. And if you're like, oh my gosh, Kelly, you're going to cover up your penguins and you're just going to leave it all to chance. All right, so we're going to put this right here so we don't mess up our sentiment. Okay. And then we're going to put our penguins here so we don't mess up our penguins. Yeah, I almost never spray sprays straight from sprays because then you have very little control. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up some of this and I'm going to black my card so that I can do a little test run here. Once I have like some fine splatters, then I'm going to take it to my card. And I'll do the same thing again. So this is like the Mosaic. And then, I mean, depending upon how much you add, like you could go full on blizzard, or you could just go a light smattering of snow. Here I do, once I have it like a very little bit on there, I do like to go over my little characters. It's a risk, but I feel like it makes everything kind of come together a little bit better. So, and now I don't even have any water to clean this off. Stand by. Okay. So I would be very interested to see what you guys. So I do like that we're interested in the snow video. That's definitely something I could put together. But I would love your guys' feedback on like, you know, do you want to like, do you want to try doing more with like ink blending and color blends? Is there a specific technique of coloring you guys want to learn? So if there's anything like that, I would love for you to let me know. I would be happy to put something together to, that's more specific to what you guys are looking for. I'm learning so much. Joy. I love it. I love the pun. Okay. So I'm going to set this up here until I can clean it. All right. Oh yeah. Brandon, did you see the outside of my desk? Here, I'll zoom out so you don't feel alone. Do you see all my spatters? What is that song? I don't know. The You Are Not Alone song? You're not alone. Okay. So I think this came out really cute. And we've got lots of different snow aspects. Should I zoom in one more time? Let's zoom in. So we have lots of different glitters. Oh, look at that glitter. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm pretty decent at watercoloring. I have some videos. And then this is more, less of an iridescent sparkle, more of a white sparkle, but offering us tons of texture. Look at that. Okay, so I think this came out really, really cute. So cute. So yeah, I do think we can do the the snow video for sure. And then let me see. Let me do this back here. Here I am back. Oh, and we're crooked because because I knocked this camera around for 2 hours. Sorry about that. Are we going to focus or are we going to? There we go. Hello. All right. So it was a long one. It was a 2-hour one, but we did lots of stuff, I think. I think we did lots and lots of stuff. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I do genuinely appreciate your time. And I will thank you, Maggie. So I will absolutely edit this down. So if you are like, hey, I want to come back, but I don't want to have to spend 2 hours with you again, I get it. I'm not offended. And I will edit it down, and I will have another video. I think later. Yeah, I think later today I'll have another one that will go up. So let's do a basic floral like a rose or a daisy or a single flower. Okay, Brandon. All right. I'm not opposed to that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. Please feel free to leave your comments below if you think of a something that you want to contribute and it's after the fact. And I genuinely appreciate your time. I know your time is your most precious commodity, and I appreciate you spending it with me. So you guys have a wonderful Thursday, and I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you guys later. Okay.